starting over seems a lot scarier than it really is, right? I've started over a few times in my life, whether that was when we moved to a town, the small ass town for my dad, due to his mining career. You know, I basically knew nobody there, had to make new friends, and albeit I was a kid, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But then we lived there for, I think it was like 2 years, came back, same thing, had to make new friends, yada yada. And then in 2021, maybe 2020, I ended up moving to the States, which is, a 12-hour drive from here. And so, when I did that, essentially I had sold everything I had, whether that was my gaming PC, my entire setup essentially. Everything I had, got rid of it, and had to start from zero, right? Got down there, had to build a new life, ended up doing that. And while I was down there, I got the new setup, I got a new job, made new friends, yada yada. And it didn't work out with that girl. So, not to badmouth her whatsoever, Hope we're the best. Our lives were just going in different directions. And, I ended up coming back with pretty much nothing except for the clothing on my back again, right? I left everything down there. I told her, listen, do what you want with it, man. All right. No hard feelings. And so I came back, had to start over, ended up getting my humble little gaming setup. I'll show it up on screen, a picture of when it was clean because I gotta clean it, right? But came back, started with nothing, had to find a new job, and luckily I was still friends with the people, from high school, yada yada. So it was nice to see them again, but had to get a new job and all this shit, right? And the one thing you start to really realize when you start over multiple times is how little things you truly need. All right. Not to say that it's not nice to have like my gaming setup or anything like that, or even just this phone and the fancy DJI mic that I use on it, you know. Not to say that I don't appreciate it, but I would be okay without it, right? Maybe I'd need my phone, but you know what I mean, right? Clothing on your back, your phone, pretty much all you need, roof over your head. And so, I came back to Canada, pretty much had nothing. And now, again, I rebuilt my setup. I now have a car, which, you know, is a huge step for me. I've never had a vehicle. I'm 27. Um, Never ended up getting my license for, I don't know why. I just made up so many excuses. At the time, I was living with my brothers and they drove me everywhere. So I was just like, whatever. Then when I went to the States, we had a car for a little bit, so I was going to get my license, and then the car shit the bucket or shit the bed, however you say that phrase, and so we just never got a new one, you know. So I was like, whatever, don't need my license. Now that I'm back in Canada, I'm like, oh shit, everything is like a 20-minute drive from me. Maybe I should get my license, right? And now I have a vehicle, which is really sick. But you know, starting over, although sucks, you'll be fine, right? Especially as somebody who's done it multiple times now, it makes you truly appreciate the shit that you have so much more than you would typically if you've never lost everything, right? And I know there's different circumstances, right? For me, it was my own choosing basically to give up everything, but it does truly make you appreciate the shit that you have a lot more, right? And so, whether that's moving to a city or moving out of your small town, whatever the case may be, once you've done it, it is not as scary as you think it is, right? And although it will suck for a little bit, you'll truly realize how little you truly need, right? I know I'm repeating myself here, but the clothing on your back, your phone, for the most part is you're fine, right? Obviously a roof over your head helps, or even if you're, living out of a car or whatever, right? And so, now I'm thinking that towards maybe the end of the year to next year at some point, there's this new girl in my life that I've been talking to. And, I'm very lucky to have her in my life. And I will pretty much be starting over again because I am planning on moving to her. And that is about a 7-hour drive from here, maybe 7 to 8 hours, depending on where we locate ourselves. And I'm at a point now where it's kind of exciting, right? It's definitely exciting to like, oh shit, I wonder like what's ahead, right? And I will say I am definitely one of those people who doesn't really get attached to material things. Although I do really like material things, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have my setup again. It's nice to have this car. I'm not somebody who truly gets attached to it, so it's not as hard for me to start over as it would be for some. I've talked with my friends about this in the past where they're planning on moving out, and that was one of the biggest things in the conversation, right? Which was not that they're afraid, it's not the word I want to use, but a little intimidated, right? Of starting over because, again, nobody wants to lose their shit. And I understand that. But I think it's a step that everybody has to go through at least once, right? To truly realize how lucky you are to have the shit that you do have. Even if it's not a lot, right? I'm, like I said, I do like material things, but when it comes to that, for me, at least personally, I like nice things in the sense of like the DJI mic that I'm using right now, right? Or the phone that I have is the iPhone Pro Max, whatever. Or, when it comes to like my gaming equipment, I like, pricey things. But I don't care to have a lot of things. So every time I start over, it's not like I'm losing a ton of shit. It's more so just like a few things, but those few things are quite expensive. So at least for my budget, right? But I think it's definitely something that everybody has to go through at least once, right? And I'm not saying that like sell everything you have, go somewhere, whatever the case may be, but more so like if you're to move, say, to a city that's far from you or far from your hometown, just bring your essentials, man, and truly realize what you're comfortable with not having, right? And so that's the one piece of advice, at least to my friends, that in the moment it will suck, but after like a week or two, you get used to it pretty quickly, right? So starting over sucks, but it's not the end of the world, right? That's all I wanted to talk about. Most of my videos on the channel are going to be behind gameplay. I just figured I'd record it here in my car because it is my first ever car, and I am pretty excited to have it. Uh, I bought it for pretty cheap, and because of that, I'm going to have to drop quite a bit of money to fix it up. But it may be a rust bucket, but it's my rust bucket, right? Anyway, that's all from me today. Until the next one, have yourselves a damn good one.